Draft is 24 hours away. Welcome to the final All49ers Roundtable. Before we know who the hell they're going to draft with the number 3 pick, I'm Grant Cohn. That's Jack Hammer, Nick Newman, Suneil Gaitonde. The 4 of us write for All49ers. You should check us out. We're pretty good. Today, we're talking about Teddy Bridgewater. It's a segue into the Niners. The Niners were interested in him. We didn't know what he was going for. Panthers just traded him to the freaking Broncos for a 6th-round pick, and the Panthers had to pay $7 million to make it happen. My question to you guys is, how does this affect Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value?
Yeah, I guess I could start, unless, Jack, you want to go ahead?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, so, I clearly think this makes it harder to get, a higher pick for Jimmy. One, it takes out a team that may have been interested. And then more importantly, like the 6th-round pick really makes it hard to try to get a 2nd or a 1st for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think if they do trade him, which I do think that they need to, it's going to be, a late-round pick, maybe a couple of late-round picks, whatever they can kind of finesse depending on the team that gets them. But I think it is going to I think it drastically drops the value of what Jimmy may have gotten if this trade didn't go through.
Yeah, definitely. The value in terms of what you will get for Jimmy Garoppolo goes down a little bit. You're not going to get a 1st or maybe even a 2nd-round pick for him. So I think the Teddy Bridgewater trade definitely hurts Jimmy Garoppolo's value. How much better is Jimmy Garoppolo than Teddy Bridgewater? Last year, Bridgewater didn't have the best season. Garoppolo was hurt, but Garoppolo, I'd still say he is the better quarterback. I'm sure a lot of teams still view him as the better quarterback just based on his sample size and what he's been able to accomplish in the past. And what's really interesting to me about this trade is the fact that the Panthers had to take on some of Teddy Bridgewater's contract for the Broncos to make this trade. The Panthers are paying more of the contract than the Broncos. And that makes you wonder if the 49ers do trade Jimmy Garoppolo, are they going to just be able to pawn him off on a team that's going to take on his entire salary? I don't really think so after seeing what just happened with Teddy Bridgewater. So even if they end up trading Garoppolo, they might have to eat some of that salary. So we'll see how it all pans out. But definitely this is not good for Garoppolo's trade value whatsoever.
I agree. I think it knocked it down a little bit. I think you're looking at his rate value probably being, we're looking at it. We were originally saying it might be somewhere between 2 to 4. Now it's probably, it could be as much as bad as a 5, maybe a 6. It just really depends on who's looking to pick him up and what their expectations are there. They might be able to get a 5th or a 4th out of somebody, if it's a future pick for next year kind of thing based off of his playing time and what he does. They might be able to get a little bit higher pick than a 6th round. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, I think it defines his value. Garoppolo may have a better track record than Teddy Bridgewater, but he's also more expensive. So that contract, I think, is a big problem. And I think I'm with Jack. I don't think the Niners could get more than a 5th. If they could get more than a 5th, then wow, go for it. But if they can't, I think that's where they're at. And the other thing about it, that's one less team that's in the market for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think a lot of people were saying, well, what about Denver? Denver could trade for him. Well, now forget Denver. Now it's New England and Washington and Chicago, and that's about it. So, yeah, I think it sort of caps it. I think it caps the value. That being said, do you think the Niners – well, let's put it this way. There was a report just an hour ago. Dale Arnold is the host of NHL Bruins games on NESN. He's 33 years in Boston sports radio, only one to do play-by-play for all 5 Boston teams. So this guy knows his stuff, and this is his tweet. What I've been told by a reliable source, Patriots are working on a new contract for Jimmy G that could lead to a deal with the 49ers. Same source who correctly told me Tom Brady had signed with the Buccaneers. Doesn't mean it will get done, but they're working on it. So very interesting report. He did all of his, professional duties to cover his bases and say that it's not really going to happen, but it could, but it might not. Do you think the 49ers and Patriots will get this done this week?
I think that something's going to happen with Garoppolo before the end of the weekend. I don't see him being a 49er on Sunday. I think, as long as he's alive, I don't think he's going to be a member of the 49ers. After this, it just doesn't work out with their their locker room. So I think there's going to be a deal done. Hopefully it's with the Patriots, because the Patriots are going to need. I think the reason the Patriots would make sense is because they're looking for a quarterback. They want a guy, but I don't think they're going to be able to jump up high enough to get any of these guys. I don't, because it's pretty expensive what the 49ers threw out the market out of whack. So I don't think they're going to be able to get up and get any of these guys. I don't think anybody's going to fall down far enough to them.
Yeah, if Garoppolo's traded, it's definitely going to be going to the New England Patriots. I can't see him getting traded to any other team. If a trade does happen, he's going to end in New England. And I do feel like the Patriots are the one team that will give the 49ers reasonable compensation for him. So it's interesting to hear this report that they're allegedly working on a deal to work something out, and a potential trade could be on the way. If Garoppolo does get traded, I see it being to the Patriots. It just makes way too much sense. Like Jack touched on, they're probably out of the range of the top 4 quarterbacks. If Mac Jones doesn't get selected 3rd overall, he'll probably go a lot later in the first round, or more so where he's expected to go in the first round. They have a shot there, but I think the trade between the 49ers and Patriots for Garoppolo makes a ton of sense. If I had to say how likely it is to happen, I'm not too optimistic that's going to happen. I see Jimmy Garoppolo still on the roster. At least that's kind of the stance I've been holding for the last couple months. I wouldn't be shocked if he's traded to the Patriots. I would just say it's 50-50 right now. I'll leave it at that. We'll go 50-50.
Yeah, I put it at like 98% that this trade is going to go through. It's just kind of like the perfect scenario for Jimmy G, a team that's actually going to value him. Obviously, Belichick is somebody who has been really high on Jimmy Garoppolo. Grant and I have talked about it even a few months ago. Bill Belichick isn't getting any younger, and he has a team. He has his enemy Tom Brady now that's out there in Tampa Bay winning Super Bowls. So he needs to get back to competing as soon as possible. I think, obviously they have Cam there, but they saw what Cam could do last year. Jimmy G fits their system, is somebody that, if healthy, clearly wins. He's won in New England. He's won with San Francisco. So I think it's just a natural transition for Jimmy G. I actually would want Jimmy G to get traded there, because it gives him a chance to actually be with the team and a fan base that will actually want him there, instead of, and it gives a chance for the rookie quarterback to start day one. And just like Nick said, I think the New England Patriots are going to be a team that actually values Jimmy G. So this will probably be the best deal that they could get. So, yeah, I see it just 5%, just because Sunday, who knows if Jimmy G is going to be alive. But other than that, I think he goes.
It seems like all the smoke is indicating that there's going to be a trade. There's this report. Kyle Shanahan was asked point blank, and he weaseled out and said, yeah, I can't guarantee anything. Sorry. Seems like all indications are this guy's going to be gone by Sunday, maybe before then. It seems like the Niners probably want another 3rd-round pick. They don't have any picks between 43 and 102, and if they could get something in that range from New England, they would say yes. Seems like, yeah, I'm going with Suneil. It's looking like probably his guy's on the way out. Yeah, I mean, does anyone think not? No.
I mean, there's been talk even earlier in the offseason that they were going to make this trade. Obviously, the 49ers were looking at Stephon Gilmore. There was reports, going out as maybe that would be a trade partner. So I think this trade has been talked about between these two teams for a while. And now that everything's kind of falling into place as far as what people at draft boards and all that kind of stuff, I think it's just finalizing the deal, and it'll be traded on day 2 or day 3 of the draft.
And now that the Niners are in position to get his replacement, they can actually start the motions of trading this dude to New England. Okay, well, before they do it, go ahead. Tell me.
Just something that popped into my head, and this goes back to our mock draft that we did the other day. I had mentioned that about the 49ers maybe trading up at the end of that 3rd round with I can't remember who it was, to get in like that 69 range for a cornerback or somebody like that. If you think about it, if they're going to trade Garoppolo and they're 104, that's the way that they move up in that 3rd round to get a little bit higher up there, maybe towards the front of the 3rd round instead of as far back as they are, kind of get back up to where their original spot would have been.
Good. And the more money the Niners are willing to pay of Jimmy Garoppolo's contract, maybe the better draft pick they get. Maybe they essentially purchase a better third-round draft pick for $15 million. Isn't that what Houston did with Brock Osweiler back in the day? Something like that, sort of, kind of?
Taking it back.
Maybe. Something like that. Taking it back. All right, last Garoppolo question. Okay, so we kind of think he's a goner. Is this the right move? Is there more value in trading Garoppolo now or keeping him on the roster a little longer?
I could jump ahead right here because this is a
Sure.
topic I'm very passionate about. You guys can kind of feed off me. So the way
Sure.
I see it, if you get Garoppolo, if you trade him for a first-round pick, there's significant value there. But if you're looking at a second-round, third-round pick, a guy who could potentially start or a guy that could step in, it's not going to be a major impact player there. And you just got to reflect on what the 49ers went through last season. And, of course, with this quarterback that you're going to draft third overall, you're hoping that they can be durable. You're hoping that they could stay healthy. But what if they can't? What if they can't? It's going to pay off to have two competent rosters on the two competent quarterbacks on the roster. And I like the idea of having two guys go at it, duke it out. Who's going to be the starting quarterback week one? I don't like the sense of entitlement. You just give the rookie quarterback the keys to the franchise. Let these two guys go at it. If the 49ers had a second competent quarterback on the roster, they would be in the playoffs last year. They would have made the playoffs. So for me, there's more value keeping a guy that knows the system around, a guy that has big game experience, a guy that was in the Super Bowl 14 months ago. It makes sense keeping him around unless you get an offer you simply can't turn down. And I know that it can create some friction in the locker room. There's going to be guys riding with Jimmy G. There's going to be guys riding with the rookie. There's potential there for things to kind of get a little tense in the locker room. But at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have two quarterbacks who can get the job done. We know Jimmy Garoppolo can win football games. He just can't stay healthy. And if this rookie comes in and beats out Jimmy Garoppolo, great. In the events the rookie gets hurt, goes through a really ugly stretch, you have a quarterback behind him who can step in and lead this team. The 49ers Super Bowl window is wide open right now. Wide open. George Kittle, Nick Bosa, if these guys stay healthy, you need to be able to capitalize this season. It's going to be more likely to reach the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster opposed to trying to accomplish something that's never been done before and winning a Super Bowl with the rookie quarterback. Yes, this is a great team in place. Rookie quarterback has, I'd say, never in my lifetime stepped into a situation like that where the team's pretty loaded on both sides of the ball. But I think there's more value keeping Garoppolo around. There's more good than harm, in my opinion.
Nick's definitely not passionate about this topic, I can tell you. Like, he's really holding everything in.
Yeah, but, please express yourself next time, Nick.
Right, absolutely. And I love you for it, Nick. But you're wrong. He needs to be traded. And the reason for that is I don't think that this offense is going to be the same offense that Jimmy Garoppolo can be successful in. I think that they're going younger. They're going more mobile. Obviously, I know all the smoke, and we're going to talk about it with Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be the pick. I think that they're ready to start fresh with the new system, new plays, open up Kyle Shanahan's playbook. And I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's a fit anymore. That whole notion that two good quarterbacks is what a team needs, or two starting caliber quarterbacks is better than one starting caliber. I mean, that didn't work well in Miami, right? It basically shot the confidence of Tua. They had Tua start the first three quarters, and then Fitzpatrick came in and did the fourth. Yeah, it was just a mess. You saw it happen with the Eagles as far as Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts, and that didn't work out. And then you saw it basically ruin the rookie quarterback in Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers just outplayed him, and now this rookie quarterback probably will never see the field, and his career is probably never going to get a jump start because he'll never get a chance to play. I haven't seen it where two good starting quarterbacks helps. We even saw Montana and Steve Young. You had to get the GOAT out of here to let Steve Young prosper. So we gotta let the new guy come in, have the confidence, and I think Kyle Shanahan's changing his offense, and I don't think Jimmy G is the type of quarterback that will be successful in the new offense that Shanahan starts instilling.
I agree with Suneil. I've always I've been on the side kind of a little bit of wanting to keep Garoppolo, but the more and more that I've thought about it as this process has gone along, the more I feel like they need to move him because they need that the new guy that's come in, and he's got to establish himself as a leader. He's got to be the guy that they've all got to fall in line with him because he's the guy that's going to carry the team moving forward. If they want it, they have Rosen. I have a feeling there might be a trade, of a 5th round pick or something like that for a veteran. I think that's where you might get a guy that's going to be able to come in and compete with him. I have a feeling that you might see the guy from Jacksonville brought in, Gardner Minshew, possibly to compete for the starting role, be your backup, and then
I just don't like his whole thing. But yeah, keep going on.
Well,
his whole presentation.
Come on, you like the jean jacket and the cowboy
love the
hat,
jean
right?
jacket and this handlebar mustache. Yes, you're right.
But going to what Suneil said, because I remember those days real well. The whole in '87 and '88, those teams struggled with the 49ers, and a lot of the reason that they struggled was because of that friction between Steve Young and Joe Montana. It wasn't until after Walsh left and after '88, going into '89, that and Seifert came in and he pretty much said Joe's the guy, and they rode with Joe. All throughout '89, except for one game, and that team just took off. All of a sudden, the struggles that you saw in '87 and especially in '88 went away. In '89, they were at the top of their game. In '90, they were right there on the verge of going back for the 3rd straight time. So I think they've got to move on from him. I think that's the best case scenario for the franchise moving forward.
Grant, you really you really froze. What? You made that face and you really froze like that first. I realized it was like for 10 seconds though. I thought I was worried about you there for a second.
You guys all made really good points. This was one of the more passionate discussions we've had so far, and I'm trying to find a middle ground here because I like everything you guys have said. I really feel like I agree with Nick. I don't like the idea of just giving the team to a rookie. A lot of people on this team like Jimmy Garoppolo. They went to a Super Bowl with him 14 months ago, and to just take it away from him because he got hurt and give it to a kid that no one has seen on the field seems could be tough too. Could be a tough sell. All I'm saying is if the most you're going to get from Jimmy is a 5th round pick, there's no rush to trade him now. What you could do is keep Jimmy through camp and let him lose. Let him lose. Let the whole team see that this rookie's better. Because you don't know if it's Mac Jones, if it's Justin Fields, if it's Trey Lance. You don't know. You've never seen him on an NFL practice field. Bring him in. Make sure that you got it right. Make sure that he's better than Jimmy. Trade him mid-August. I mean, didn't the Eagles do that with Sam Bradford? They had Wentz. They had Bradford. They let it play out. They got rid of Bradford. I mean, I just feel like you don't have to do it this weekend. If you wait 2 months and then get a pick next year, okay.
And that's something that Bonte Hill brought up on my show. I had Bonte on a week ago or so. And, remember the Seahawks, they gave Matt Flynn all this money to come in and be their starting quarterback after he had his couple good games with the Packers. That's almost kind of like what the 49ers did with Jimmy Garoppolo when Matt Flynn lit it up with the Packers, signed with the Seahawks. Then Russell Wilson came in and started. They decided, hey, the rookie's better than you. Just like you touched on, Grant, there's no rush to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. And here's one more thing. And this idea I've kept alive was really a lot of air got sucked out of that balloon after what Kyle Shanahan said at his press conference. But a scenario that nobody was really talking about. What if this rookie comes in and he's not ready to go? We see it all the time in the NFL. And let's say Jimmy Garoppolo starts and he has a season where the team wins 12, 13 games, somewhere in that range. His value is going to be as high as it was last season, where you could arguably maybe get a first for him. And that's something nobody is talking about. Like if Jimmy Garoppolo leads the 49ers to having to the playoffs, his trade value is going to rise because this rookie's not guaranteed to be a lock right away to lead this offense at 30 points a game like we saw last year with Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no urge, there's no need to trade him right now. Yes, Grant, go ahead. Also, John Lynch said that too. He said that at his press conference. He was like, we have a good situation for a rookie because we don't have to play him right away. We have Jimmy. We can wait till he's ready. There's been examples of quarterbacks who've had adverse effects from playing too soon. He said that. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago? I'm losing track of time.
There's a couple things here. You talk about the Russell Wilson deal. Russell Wilson deal, then the Sam Bradford deal in Philly. Neither one of those guys that they were replacing were guys that were coming in that had already established themselves in the locker room as a guy that had taken their team to the Super Bowl. So they didn't have any kind of history there. That's one of the things that you got to remember there too. I had another point that I lost. So let's.
Well,
we got
Russell Wilson was a third round pick. You know what I mean? That's like having CJ Beathard, right? Third round pick, and then being like, oh, like we gotta give the reins to him. It's not. They didn't know Russell Wilson was going to be Russell Wilson, so they brought in another.
Well, the point was that they let the two guys compete, and the rookie went out, and that's what happens with Jimmy Garoppolo. So be it. And I see a lot of people. I'm following along in the comment section about how he's such an outrageously expensive backup quarterback if he loses the competition. Well, where's that money going to go right now anyway? Free agency's over. You still have enough money to extend Fred Warner. What do you need that money for right now? I know you want to move on, Grant. I just wanted to throw that last part in.
Well, you guys have to leave in 23 minutes, so I think we should finish up. BMF Ranger says Mac is kind of small. He will get hurt behind our current O-line. Alabama protection was better. Yeah, I agree with that. Johnny Ellis says, is it possible that Kyle Shanahan is tired of getting destroyed by mobile quarterbacks and is ready to get with the program? You think Kyle Shanahan has changed?
So.
You think Kyle Shanahan's had a change of heart? He had an epiphany. He was standing in front of the mirror of truth and was like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And the mirror was like, not you anymore because of CJ Beathard. And he was like, damn, I got to do better. No! Sorry. I'm sorry.
Here's the one thing I'll say about that is that you got to remember now, he's had two quarterbacks in his career, two of his better quarterbacks. RG3 was having a heck of a season in 2012, Jimmy Garoppolo in 2018 that he lost due to knee injuries while they were running.
That's right.
You know, the RG3 one, I know that his final knee injury came in the playoffs, but he had injured that knee on a scramble against Baltimore a few weeks before that, and then the Garoppolo injury as well. So that's got to, I wonder how much of that is playing into his mind as to what he's thinking here too.
I mean, I watched an interview of his just a few years ago where he was talking about how mobility in a quarterback helps the zone run game actually play out better. And that's something that he hasn't been able to utilize because he hasn't had a quarterback that could actually be mobile and be a threat with his legs. I think that he has changed his tune, and I think that, you know, we're going to get a mobile quarterback tomorrow.
Speaking of Kyle, are fans too hard on him? He's taking a lot of heat right now.
I'm going to go last because I am not for the Kyle Shanahan slander, so I will refute anything that comes out of Grant Cohn's mouth. So I'll go last.
Hey, Grant, I caught the first like 20 minutes of your quality control meeting today or whatever it was, and you said something 100% correct where you could not get by saying anything negative about Kyle Shanahan for the longest time. And there was times where I would criticize him too. You cannot get away criticizing him for anything, whether it be giving the ball in a shotgun handoff on 3rd and 1 or whatever it is. You cannot get away with saying anything bad about Kyle Shanahan. It's not Kyle Shanahan's play calling. It was the execution. It was the players. See, the hole was right there.
The defense gave up. The defense should have done better. Jimmy messed up.
You couldn't get away saying anything bad about Kyle Shanahan. So as far as I'm concerned, for the last 4 years, this fan base has been soft as hell on Kyle Shanahan, and it took Mac Jones. It took everybody. Yeah. It took everybody to finally see that this guy really might want Mac Jones. And you know, maybe fans are too hard. This is where I'll give you a little leeway, Suneil, because I know you're about to take a mean Kyle Shanahan stand. This is where your leeway comes into play. Is that maybe this is, we're all speculating right now. We truly don't know what Kyle Shanahan has up his sleeve. If he doesn't end up taking Mac Jones, then okay, people were hard on him, really concerned about him not changing, so on. But if he does, he deserves every single thing that is coming his way. He has been given a free pass from this fan base for as long as I can remember. This past season, like, people don't even criticize the 3rd and 5 Wildcat handoff to Jerick McKinnon in a rivalry game on 3rd. Like, how do you do that? You don't take the ball out of your quarterback's hand. Anyway, I'm not going to blast Kyle Shanahan right now, but to answer this question, are fans too hard on Kyle Shanahan?
3 minutes
Hell
of
no.
Him.
Hell no.
Hey, well, here's disrespect, but here's 3 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
No, here's my deal with this is that we've got fans who have been saying all along that Shanahan's okay. The reason he struggled is because he hasn't had his quarterback. Look at who he's been stuck with throughout his career, everywhere he's gone. And now we got in a position where he's going to pick the guy that he wants, and everybody's pissed off about it because it's not the guy they want. I mean, come on!
Isn't that great? I love that. God, you gotta love how inconsistent people are. I love it.
So as far as I'm concerned,
wait till he gets his guy. goes to get his guy. Don't you freaking dare take that quarterback.
And that's my whole thing on it is that and I think people are crazy for not liking for I think people are missing the boat on Mac Jones when it comes to what he can bring to the table in the 49ers. And I understand what you can bring to the table with, I like Trey Lance. If it's Trey Lance, that's great. I think he's the next best guy. Justin Fields, I think, is the worst of the three. So bring one of them on, whoever it's going to be. Let the guy get his guy, and then let's complain about it once he gets on the field in August.
No, let's complain about it before he even makes the pick. Did you see how the reporters were attacking Kyle? Like, why do you like Mac Jones? Like, who says I like? I didn't even take him. Hold on.
That's what's ridiculous to me. So we're beating him up for what the media is saying, not for anything that's come out of his mouth, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
He hasn't done it yet.
And on top of that, we're beating him up because in 2017, he wasn't on the forefront of the whole get Patrick Mahomes. When people don't realize, hey, let's take us back to 2017. Who would Patrick Mahomes be throwing to if he was our first round pick? Like, there was no receivers. There was no team around him at that point. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is also Patrick Mahomes because he's throwing to Tyreek Hill. He's throwing to I'm blanking on the
Kelsey.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. He's throwing to, and he has the running game. He has, obviously a great offensive-minded coach. So to look back on what Kyle Shanahan has done for the 49ers, I remember what we were like before he came. We weren't a team that was very competent. We were going through a rough breakup with Harbaugh, who we all loved, and then the team wasn't performing the way that we wanted them to perform. Our culture was bad. We were bringing in all of these people that were getting in trouble with the law. We were always in the media for the wrong reasons. And now fast forward to 2021, we're always in the top 6 for Vegas bets as far as being Super Bowl favorites. You know what I mean? So to say that our team is in such a flux and all this kind of stuff, in the last 5 Super Bowls, Shanahan has been in 2 of them. You know what I mean? So to say that and with 2 different quarterbacks, so to say that this guy is not somebody that we should trust to be able to pick a quarterback, even if it's somebody that we don't like. I mean, he's constantly giving us a team that's competing. The team that we have right now has been developed by him. The guys that he's brought in, the coaching that he's had, the staff that we have is all brought in and developed through him. I just think that we should just breathe a little bit. We're all excited about a Trey Lance, about a Justin Fields, who I think those 2 are going to be one of the picks. But even if it's Mac Jones, I'm going for it because at the end of the day, Kyle Shanahan is putting his job on the line with this pick.
Yeah.
So if he has that much belief that the person that he's picking is the right guy for him, he knows if it doesn't work out in 3 years, he's not coaching. He's not a head coach for the 49ers anymore. So we might care, but I'm pretty sure he cares a lot more than we care as far as because it's his job, his reputation, and who knows if he comes back from it, if he makes, that terrible of a pick. So.
Yeah, you sound like pretty much every 49ers fan ever until about 2 weeks ago. I mean, to say that Niners fans have been too hard on Kyle, I feel like they see everything from Kyle's perspective. Every excuse, everything that's gone his way, every piece of bad luck, Niner fans can rattle it off. Like, you can't blame him for this. He's actually been good here. This isn't his fault. He's exceeded expectations here. He's really great. Fact of the matter is he's 29-35. You are what your records say you are what your record says you are unless your name is Shanahan. And then people like you. They believe in you. They knew his dad. They have belief. And that's fine. That could be all right. I mean, you might be right that he's worthy of that belief. I just feel like he's been given more rope. He's been given more excuses. He's been given more belief than someone named Mike Jones, who would have been given. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is I'm with Nick. It's taken Niner fans being like, man, he's really going to take Mac. He's going to trade up for Mac Jones. Maybe this dude is out of his mind. It's taken 4 years for Niner fans to finally question him. And even if he does take Mac Jones, I think Niner fans will like Suneil said, they'll be like, yeah, all right, fine. I trust him again. Let's do it.
You're right.
I think
100%. That's
really give this
exactly
guy-
what's going to happen.
There's no
Exactly
coach
what's
like
gonna
it, man.
happen.
He's 6 games under 500, and people like it's just agreed that he's a genius. So, and I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I think if he's gonna cry that like fans haven't been nice to him, I wouldn't take that approach, man. And when he came out at the press conference the other day and said that he didn't like fans coming up to him at the soccer games, like, dude, you better be happy that fans aren't coming up to you at soccer games being like, we should have kept Chip Kelly.
But I
if
think
you keep Mac Jones, man, you're going to
I
be
think-
getting those conversations soon.
so. But what I'm saying is more just like this disrespect as far as us saying that we can't trust his choice is the thing that I think is what I don't understand where that comes from. You know what I mean? Because it all stems either from 2017 not taking Patrick Mahomes.
Well, no, but it's
We
more
have
than that.
eyes.
So-
We've seen Mac
so-
Jones. I'm sorry, Jack, but everyone feels like Mac Jones isn't going to have the type of upside that Fields and Lance could have 5 years down the line.
And it's not just that, Suneil. It's what about Joe Williams? Joe Williams. Hey, let's put Joe Williams on our draft board. Let's put him back on. I really like Joe Williams because that worked out so great, right? Hey, Jerick McKinnon, you've been a scat back your entire life. Let's give you top 5 running back money. That worked out so great.
They were not interested in Patrick Mahomes because
Hold up, are we just gonna ignore the fact that we were in the Super Bowl that year? Are we gonna ignore the fact that we've been
right now? But listen to this. Hey, are we gonna? That's like Jacksonville Jaguar fans saying, "All right, hey, we were in the AFC Championship." It's a fluke to me right now. It's until they get back there, it was a fluke. It was an outlier. It was an outlier until they prove otherwise.
We're coming up again. Go ahead, Jack.
And it's fine. We could run over. I don't have to get off at 6. I got my dinner already made. So the deal is that if he gets this guy, I understand the people, and I understand what you just said to me, Grant, that he doesn't have I know that he doesn't have the upside of the potential of either of these other two, of Lance.
Yeah,
you know,
we both like Lance.
I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't have the upside of Lance, but at the same time, he can step in right now. And if they're going to be doing what it sounds like they might do, if they are going to move on from Jimmy, I think he's the guy that they're going to take. He can step in, and he does. The only thing that he does worse than everybody else is he doesn't have the arm strength to be able to throw the ball deep when he's moving. Everything else that he does is at a higher level than those guys, and he does it on a regular basis, consistently, down after down after down. Obviously, he's going to have to make some mistakes, but everybody does that. All these guys have their mistake plays, you know. And and as far as the stuff on Shanahan, we got to wait till this guy gets on the field before we start blasting him, because and as much as I've been hard on Shanahan, you guys should know that, because people have come at me because I've talked about his bad play calling, what I think of at times. But in this decision, we've got to let him get his guy, and then let things start to play out. Once this thing starts to play out, that's when we go ahead and blast him. Once the game start,
You're right.
As far as I'm concerned, from somebody that's going to be writing about the team, I'm fine with who he takes, and I'm gonna judge him throughout the season, just like I've judged him for the first 4 years. It's just that now he's going to have his quarterback.
You're right. I think that's a good fair way to look at it.
Johnny Ellis says we like to shame people, Kyle, until they provide us with our wants. The truth is Kyle and John are ultimately responsible and accountable. Well, I mean, I think what Niner fans are a little worried about is if they take Mac Jones and it doesn't work out and Kyle Shanahan gets traded, who's going to want to come and coach Mac Jones? I mean, he doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Who's going to want to come and coach? Who's going to want to come and coach Trey Lance if Trey Lance is a complete bust in the first 3 or 4 years, or any of these guys?
I think a lot more teams had high grades on Trey Lance than on Mac Jones. Is all I'm saying.
But just see what happened with Sam Darnold, right? By the time Kyle Shanahan and Lynch are out, it'd be 2023. Mac Jones would already be 3 years into his deal. They'll finally get a 2024 first round pick. Whoever the new coach comes in, if Mac Jones is that terrible and the team is that bad, they'll have a high draft pick and be able to pick a new quarterback and then trade Mac Jones just like Sam Darnold got traded. If that is the case, I don't think that's going to be the case, because I think that Kyle Shanahan is going to win with whomever he picks, because that's who Kyle Shanahan is. He's a winner in my book.
What if Shanahan wants Fields, but front office wants Trey? Remember, the presser, original guy improved, but so have others. They saw Mac once. Yeah, what if?
They saw everybody once.
Could be. Fairfield Niner says trade down with Carolina, swap picks, and we get Sam Darnold, pick 39, pick 73, or 113. Man, I wasn't prepared for that. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe it could, but I don't think.
Immediate reactions, no.
Probably negatory. Gold Rush says Pat's apparently reworking Jimmy deal for potential trade scenario. I believe can happen. Chicago sends 83 for Jimmy and 194. Chicago? I thought we were talking Pats.
Well, the Patriots moved. You didn't know that?
Oh, I didn't.
They relocated to Chicago.
Wow.
No.
Overnight. They loaded up the Beacons trucks and moved. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Luke says, how are you saying we disrespected his choice? Did he not tank a season waiting for Kirk Cousins? Did he not draft CJ? I don't trust him with quarterbacks. I don't know. I think that's a fair thing to say. We might be wrong, but burden of proof on Kyle.
I don't think it's that fair. 2017, like I said, we're putting it through the prism of now. When you look back at the draft boards, if you look back at what people were saying, nobody was talking high about Pat Mahomes. Deshaun Watson obviously was falling, and all that kind of stuff. The 49ers had a lot of other needs as well. The team just wasn't good, and they thought, he thought he could get a Kirk Cousins. He ended up getting Jimmy G, and they made it to a Super Bowl 2 years later. So I don't know why, we're so upset.
Yeah,
I'll fighting uphill, man. Niner fans don't agree.
I'll address Jeremy's question here in a second, but the other thing too, and Suneil's right here though too. The 2017 draft, if they'd taken a quarterback in 2017, that guy's probably isn't as good, or he especially as quick as Mahomes was if he was on the 49ers in 2017, 2018, because the team wasn't ready. It's very similar to go back to 2005 when the 49ers made the mistake and they took Alex Smith instead of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that the 49ers, Aaron Rodgers, has the career that he has had in Green Bay if he's with the 49ers, because he doesn't sit for 3 years. He's playing right away on a cruddy team that had absolutely nobody on their offense to support him. So I think that, with revisionist history, and sure, I would have liked to have Mahomes, but and then as far as being a Kyle Shanahan fan, I mean, really, if that's about the farthest thing from the truth. I've been extremely hard on Kyle Shanahan. I think that he blew 2 Super Bowls. I think he's a poor game manager and those kind of things. But when it comes to this decision, just hearing what all the people that love Kyle Shanahan have said, you've got to give the guy the chance to get his quarterback instead of starting to turn on him before he even has what you've been saying he needs.
Amazing how quickly Niner fans turned on him. It went from you can't say anything that's not complimentary of Kyle Shanahan to, if you're defending him, you're more of a Kyle fan than a Niner fan. Man, Niner fans, I'll never change. I love how quickly you switch up on people, and I'm always here to egg you on. All right, let's switch it up to something equally as passionate. Tom Compton back on the 49ers. Niners brought him back. I was worried about that. Will Tom Compton make the 49ers final roster? Is he gonna be a factor this year? Because I want to know.
Tom Compton making the final roster. Heck, the Niners don't even have to worry about going interior offensive line in the draft now. They're set with Tom Compton in there.
No problem. Cassius Marsh of the offensive line.
He might have a decent shot at making the roster. When you really look at it, he's going to be competing. Who's he going to be competing with? He's going to have Brunskill. Really, he's got to beat out. McKivitz. And so he's going to have a shot. You'd really hope that he doesn't, because you want to see McKivitz, who's the guy that they spent a draft capital on, win that deal, and have Brunskill be a guy that can earn a bigger, really play well and earn a bigger contract on the road.
The only appropriate way to answer this question is I don't even know if Tom Compton's going to be alive when the 49ers get all the way to their final roster cuts. But on a serious note,
you better hope he is, because if he's not, you're suspect number one, buddy. You better hope. You can't be talking like that on publicly. That was dark. Yeah. Well, Kyle took it there. Sorry.
I don't think he'll make the final roster. I like a lot of the young guys that the 49ers have. I don't think he'll have a role.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but I do think it may hint to us what the 49ers are planning on doing during the draft. They obviously signed a running back. They signed Tom Compton. I think all those high round picks are going towards who they didn't sign, which is a cornerback, a receiver, and then, probably a couple cornerbacks and a receiver. I probably think the first 4 rounds are going to be quarterback, corner, receiver, corner, somewhere in that, realm or whatever, because they're signing all these other guys off of the free agent market to fill in for depth. So I think that's more what it says than anything else.
Yeah, I'm with Suneil. I think they're going to do this instead of drafting an offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds, which is too bad, because they could use some serious talent, and that ain't Tom Compton. But hey, maybe I don't really know Tom Compton that well. Maybe I'll get a better sense of what he can bring to the table. Joshua says, do you think Kyle Shanahan lied about looking at the quarterback 17 draft when he thought highly of CJ to cover himself. How can we put much trust?
Yeah,
I
What
don't
about
understand the question.
I don't think he ever looked at CJ Beathard as a guy that was going to come in and be his starting quarterback.
that?
I
Was,
think he
yeah.
I think he looked at CJ Beathard as a guy who was going to come in and be his backup, and they were going to get a guy, whoever it was. It ended up being Garoppolo. It was going to be Garoppolo. The original plan, I think, was Cousins, but then Garoppolo fell into the laps, and they made a change. But I don't think he was ever expected to be a starter.
Okay, this is the final topic, and it's Sherms and Suneils. This is the greatest offseason smokescreen. Keep Jets' eyes on quarterbacks while we pick Pitts. Mond in second. Okay. Are the Niners sending out smoke screens to deceive the Jets? Suneil, why don't you start this one off, and then we'll be done.
Yes. So, I put this out on Twitter, and it seemed to get a lot of traction because I believe it. There's so much talk about, why are the 49ers doing this? Why is there so many leaks? All this kind of stuff. And everybody's focused on everybody after the pick, that they're doing it for that reason. The only team that can mess up the 49ers draft board is the Jets. And they're obviously a team that is going to be running and implementing the same type of offense that the 49ers have. And so that's the team that's causing them not to be able to be all forthcoming with who they actually like. That's why we're so confused as far as what it is, because to act like there's not human nature and it's not like these quarterbacks are all separated. I think we all could agree, the top 4, top 5, however you put them in, there's not a huge gap between 2 to 5. There's you just have different things that you like. So it's not out of the realm to think if the Jets are in between maybe Wilson and Fields and they think they're right there neck and neck, that having Kyle Shanahan really be high on one of those quarterbacks can be something where they're like, maybe we should go with this guy because that's the extra oomph and confidence that we need, that this guy is better than that guy. And Shanahan's not going to do that. The 49ers are not going to do that because then they lose out on the person they're most excited about. The Jets are the only team that could ruin the 49ers draft board. So they're obviously not going to show off their cards. They have to keep it a secret. And I really think it's still going to be between Fields and Lance. And, that's kind of just how I'm thinking about it.
Are they sending out a smoke screen? I don't know. Do I hope they are? Yes. And I really hope that's why Kyle Shanahan was kind of playing along in his press conference to everything that's Mac Jones related. He made a comment like, if you were going to like a pick at 12th overall, like that same pick at 3rd overall. That's not exactly what he said, but that's what I took away from it because it was a quote very similar to that. But I really do hope it's all smoke screen. And I think Suneil raised a good point. It's a point that I've heard from several outlets, not to take away from what you were saying, Suneil, but it's something going around right now that the Jets and the 49ers run a very similar system, and maybe the Jets do want to take the quarterback that Kyle Shanahan wants just because they're going to be implementing his system or a system very similarly to it. So I just hope that it's smokescreen. They don't take Mac Jones.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a smokescreen, but what Suneil said makes sense. I mean, Suneil, do you think that they really want to get the guy that the 49ers are really targeting is Justin Fields?
No, I don't think it's about getting the guy that the 49ers want. I think it's just another input that could help them make their decision if they're really close between a couple of guys, right? So if, say it's Wilson and Fields, say those are the two guys, or Wilson and Lance, let's just say, and those two guys are very close in the Jets' eyes, and they're trying to figure out who do we go with. If Shanahan then comes out and is like, Lance is my guy, that might be that extra oomph that puts Lance over Wilson in their eyes to be like, look, Shanahan also agrees with us that Lance is a good fit. Let's go with Lance over that. It's just, it doesn't make sense for the 49ers to put their cards out on the table when they have a team in front of them that is running the same type of offense, that has the same type of principles, that, that can maybe influence it. I'm not saying that they're like, whatever Shanahan says we're going to pick. I'm just saying it's a something that human nature can affect their decision if Shanahan came out and said, Fields is my guy or Lance is my guy type of situation.
Okay, yeah, because I'd seen this earlier today, and so I just kind of wanted to hear you voice it so that I could get a better understanding of where you were going. I think the thing here that you got to think about too, with when you think about that with the Jets have had a ton of money in free agency this year. How many guys did they go and grab off of the 49ers roster that the 49ers have then gone out and spent the money to bring back? They haven't done any of it. They haven't brought any of the 49er guys out. Any of the guys all of us spent a lot of time right after the
Tevin Coleman's it. That's it.
Yeah. Tevin Coleman's the only guy that they brought over there that they thought worthy of bringing over there. So, that's the only thing to me that where I would say I don't think that's there, a smoke screen there. I think the reason that there's a smoke screen is because you just can't say who your picks are anymore, because pretty much everybody knows who's going number one, right? But all of a sudden, yesterday there's a report that now they're deciding between Lawrence and Fields and Wilson, and the same thing at number two. It's who knows who's going to go at two, number three. So when you listen to these people talk, especially the people that know far more than I am, or much more in tune than I am, for sure, those are the guys that I listen to. Mike Silver is probably the one that I listen to the most, that I respect the most, from that standpoint, because he's usually pretty spot on. He doesn't say things without having really good something behind him. They're all pointing to the same guy, and they're all pointing to him, and they're saying it's about a 70 to 80% chance. And so that's pretty much them saying that this is going to be the pick, and I'm going to be really surprised if it's not.
Yeah, I think the reporting seems like it's been pretty good on this one. Maybe the Niners are sending out smoke screens, but I got to give Schefter, McShay, Lombardi, all these guys credit. It seems like they're on it, and what they're saying is it was Mac Jones. And over the last month, it's become Mac Jones and Trey Lance. And as more time goes on, Trey Lance becomes more and more of a serious candidate. I think that's probably what's going on. If it's Justin Fields, that would be amazing. That was just a secret. No one knew it. And I think that'd be pretty cool. I'd actually kind of like to see something crazy like that. Or Kyle Pitts. I mean, wow, no one knew it. But no, I think probably these guys are probably on it. And if the Niners are giving out smoke screens, we'll learn in 24 hours. I'm so glad that the speculation is almost over. Before we go, Ben, real quick, let's give a real quick answer on this one, then we got to go. Ben says, assume Jimmy is on the team. Which draft pick takes Niners farther next year, Mac or Trey? Or does it not matter? Real quick.
Next year, I go Jones.
2022, 2021 or 2022?
Yes.
In 20.
The next year. No. 2022. Trey Lance then. I say Trey Lance.
Mac Jones.
Trey Lance. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming on this show. This was definitely the most lively show of all time. I thought it was great. Really enjoyable. Hopefully you did too. Thanks for all the donations. I'll be back in an hour with Jesse Naylor, Niners After Dark. Get your Cavassier ready. See you then.